Once upon a time, long, long ago and far away, or perhaps much more recently in a place much closer than you might imagine, there was a kind and wise queen who ruled over a prosperous and peaceful land. It hadn't always been so. Many years earlier, when she and her husband had first ascended to the throne, the land was fractious, covered with quarreling little fiefdoms between dukes and earls, ambitious peoples. But with hard work and wisdom, kindness, she and her husband had developed this wonderful land. Unfortunately, 2 years earlier, a deadly plague had swept through the land, and the king had died, as had both of their beloved children. She was heartbroken, but did her duty to continue as queen for as long as she could. But her heart wasn't into it anymore. She really wanted to retire, to go live quietly in a simple cabin, live a life without all the responsibilities. But she knew that she had to pick an heir. Her heirs had died. And she had to pick an heir because otherwise all those fractious people would get back at it again. So she put out a call to all the wise teachers and priests and leaders of various communities in the land and told them to send forth their very finest, wisest, smartest, bravest young men and women to come apply for the position. So on the appointed day, the courtyard to the palace was full with scores of bright, eager, strong, smart young men and women. And the queen said, "Before you leave here, each of you will be given a box with a seed in it. Go home, plant it, tend it, and in a year's time, bring it back to me. Show me the fruits of your labor, and one of you will be chosen to be the heir to the throne." Wow. Everybody was pretty excited. They went back to their homes with the box, with the seed. They planted them. Everybody had different techniques for what they were going to do, according with his or her own wisdom. They all tended their plants in secret, and on the appointed day, they came back to the palace, bearing all sorts of plants. One had a big, beautiful, exotic blossom, one single blossom in a golden pot. Another had a whole patch of wheat growing abundantly in this big wagon she pulled. Another had an orange tree. Somehow an orange tree had already borne fruit in a year's time under her wisdom. One by one, the supplicants came before the queen and presented their plant. Each time she nodded and said, "Ah, yes." Next. "Ah, yes." Next. Until everyone had been seen. And she said, "Isn't there anyone else here who has something to show me?" And from the back, a young woman came forth and said, "Yes, Your Majesty, I brought my seed as instructed, but mine did not come to fruition. I have only the simple pot." And you know where the story is going. The queen said, thank you for bringing your seed." You see, before giving out the seeds last year, I had them soaked in salt water and dried, so they're all infertile. And you are the only one who is willing to come forth with the true fruits of your labor and tell the truth. That's what it takes to be a sovereign. All rise and welcome the new queen. Unlike the people in that story, each and every one of us is given a fertile seed. Each and every one of us is invited to be the king or queen of her own sovereign domain called our lives. And it takes courage to live fully and to bear fruit as a king, as a queen, to take responsibility for your domain. It takes some measure of wisdom, some measure of luck, perhaps. But mostly, in my understanding, it takes the willingness to be truthful, to seek the truth, to be the truth, to know when you're out of truth, and come again and again with whatever you have to the moment, however humble, however grand, to come again and again with the willingness to take responsibility for that which is yours to be responsible for. Whether it's just your life, or a big department in a corporation, or the little business you're building, or being a house parent, taking care of kids. Whatever it is yours to do, whatever your kingdom, your sovereign land, you can, you will, you must thrive. It is the law. That is what we're born to do. And in order to realize and recognize into this legacy, into that which has been given to you as a birthright, it is important to tell the truth and seek the truth.